is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and we actually get to talk about some hockey for a little bit right here. Sadly, haven't been able to get a chance to talk about the Flyers and their 3-1 start to the season, which was kind of shocking. I didn't expect them to play the way that they're playing at this point because they look pretty solid. They're fighting, they're battling. Overall, you can definitely tell the lack of talent with this team with the way just basically with the roster is constructed, but they're finding ways to battles. They're finding ways to, come back in games. They're not, going down so easily so far to start these first 4 games. Like, basically every, second they had a chance last year, they went down so easily. Once, the team scored the first goal or the second goal, it was basically, okay, this game is most likely over. The team wouldn't fight back. There was basically no chance. But so far in these first 4 games, I like the way, they're fighting. I like the way they're battling overall. That's the John Tortorella way. Their team is not, going to give up a shift every 60 minutes. So basically, they're involved in these games. They're finding their ways to be involved. It's a nice way to see it. Carter Hart, in these first 4 games, well, he didn't play today, but in the first 3 games that he played, he actually looked pretty good. And there were some weak goals here and there, but, when the Flyers went down, and specifically with, the past couple of games in, Tampa Bay and the game at home against Vancouver, going down 2-0 early on, and then you find your way to come back, Carter Hart, like I said, allowed maybe a soft goal here or there, maybe to start those games, but he made some huge saves down the stretch, and both of those games came out with, a great save percentage, and basically was one of the main reasons you were even involved in both of those games, and one of the main reasons why you won those games. And hell, coming back against the Tampa Bay Lightning yesterday, after falling down 2-0, and especially today with the back-to-back in Florida, you still go down 2-0. You do find a way to tie it, but at the end of the day, you are playing a back-to-back, and maybe you do see a little bit of fatigue there, even though I think the Flyers dominated that third period. A couple defensive lapses basically throughout the entire game. I thought they were getting dominated defensively overall in the game, which is definitely going to be a weakness of this team, overall. But they're still showing fight. They fought till the very last minute. Travis Konecny scored that goal. 2 seconds left, a really nice feed over from Kevin Hayes. So they're making some nice plays. There's definitely the weaknesses with this team. We all know this, but right now this team is showing fight, and it's very nice to see overall. They're playing some solid hockey. Do I expect it to last basically an entire year? Probably not, but it's nice, seeing Torts give a lot of these young guys some chances. Noah Cates getting that game-winning goal against Tampa Bay yesterday. Travis Konecny looks pretty solid. You're seeing Joel Farabee all over the ice, Wade Allison and all that stuff. Some young guys on the defensive core, even though I do think Samula had that, lapse defensively on the, I believe it was the 3rd Florida goal in the game where he basically, I forget, looking at that 3rd Florida goal, if I'm looking at it, Blaser or Balsers, got the feed from Bennett between Zamula and I believe it was Sealer on the ice at that time. But, Sandstrom gave up a couple of weak goals in this game. He got the nod in tonight's game. Gave up a couple of weak goals, made a lot of saves in this game as well. But, at the end of the day, when you're having that many laps defensively and also with an inexperienced, young goaltender behind the net, it's not good. He's not going to make every single save. He allowed, he faced 35 shots in this game and he allowed 4 goals. So you stopped 31 out of 35. So overall, he, like I said, he allowed some weak goals in this game, but he made some big ones too, and was probably one of the main reasons why you were able to tie the game up at 2 to begin with. But still, they look solid in the first 4 games. They're showing fight. They're not, they're not dying, which is, nice to see. Like I said, that's the John Tortorella MO. They're going to give it all, every single shift. And they're showing fight. They're showing compete. They're not going away in games. They're not just sitting down there and dying, which is probably the most important thing so far. And like I said, it's really good to see, a lot of the young guys getting their chances. If you're looking at the Flyers basically to start the year, in the stats department, Travis Konecny in the first, 4 games, he has 4 goals to start the year. In the first 4 games, 5 points. JVR has a good amount. He has 2 goals to start the year. Tony DeAngelo has a couple of points to start the year. Kevin Hayes with a lot of assists. I think he has 5 assists so far, or maybe 6 assists to start the season. Morgan Frost has honestly looked pretty solid. Provorov has looked really good overall. Scott Lawton And Scott Lawton is the only guy to be wearing an A this year. That's basically what Torts has been saying all along. He's not going to be assigning a captain at all the entire season, and he probably thinks right now Scott Lawton is the only guy that's deserving of an A in that locker room. So, yeah, it's going to be a weird season. It definitely is. But I think it's not going to be as dreadful. You know what I mean? Like dreadful hockey. Like we all know this team is lacking a lot of talent. A whole lot of talent. They also kind of stuck in the face-off circle, but that also happens when you lose a Claude Giroux at the trade deadline last year. He doesn't come back to you. And then also you're losing Sean Couturier to an injury, who was probably one of the better face-off men. Both of those guys being the better face-off men in the league. When you lose those guys, yeah, you're going to definitely look a lot worse in the face-off circle, and that's definitely showcasing in some of these games. So, yeah, that's basically going to be, like, if you look at some of these games, tonight, they were dominated in the face-off circle, 63% to 37. If you look at the Tampa Bay game, 62% to 38%. It was a little more closer in the Vancouver game, 48 to 52%. But if you're looking at the chances basically for the Flyers, they definitely got outshot yesterday in Tampa Bay, but they found a way to win. Noah Cates, that goal that he scored yesterday in that third period, where he forced a turnover down in the slot, and then he just spun around and just shot it by Vasilevsky to give the Flyers the win. So that was a nice moment to see there. It's basically just the team fighting back. That's the most important thing. They're within it. They're not dying. They're fighting back. I know I keep saying this, but that's basically what I'm seeing through this team. They're not going away. They're not dying. They're just not, giving up. They're still fighting. They're showcasing that they're going to fight. They have energy. It's basically this team major flaw is that they lack talent. There's a lot of lack of, that superstar talent, star talent overall. And also you're going to be seeing a lot of young guys, and a lot of these young guys are going to be making their mistakes. Guys like Noah Cates, guys like a lot of these younger guys, Wade Allison and all that stuff. It's nice, seeing that Torts is giving these guys chances and he's putting them in opportunities for them to get some good minutes here. I do think overall, like some of the guys that's been standing out, Konecny has been standing out. Provorov has actually been really standing out on the blue line. I'm trying to think Carter Hart has been actually spectacular to start this year, even though I did bring up that he's given up some soft goals. But maybe that's also an implication of him, not playing any preseason games, and also the fact that, probably a better defensive system in front of him. But even though with today's game, the defensive lapses basically throughout the entire thing, it was kind of ugly. Definitely, they still found a way to fight back though and tie the game. But like I said, when you have one too many defensive lapses and a guy in Felix Sandstrom who doesn't have that much NHL experience, he's not going to make every single save in the world. So that's basically what happened in tonight's game. But you still found a way, make it a one-goal game. You fought till the very end, basically, and that's what you've been basically doing in all of these games. First loss of the season, and now you have a couple of days off here before you have a game on Saturday in Nashville. I think it's a back-to-back as well, Saturday in Nashville, then Sunday at home against the San Jose Sharks. So, honestly, if the Flyers figure out a way to get a point in Nashville, they're going to have a couple of days rest here to rest up and prepare for that game. If they find a way to win on Saturday or even get a point, you can consider this road trip a success. If you could start the season 3-1-1 or even 4-1, that'll be a nice, little start to the year. They're playing some solid hockey. You definitely know the flaws of this team. We all know the flaws. Are they going to have a spectacular season? I do think John Tortorella, with the way his magic goes, he's going to make the team overachieve. He's going to get players playing to that extra level that they didn't think they can get to. A lot of the young guys, maybe even some of the veterans as well. A lot of the guys that underachieved on this team last year, maybe he gets that extra gear from this team to do something to, maybe that makes them overachieve. But I still think overall, they're not going to be, this world-beating team, no way near hell. They might still even be like a bottom 10 team in the National Hockey League, but they're going to fight every single game. They're going to grind. They're going to muck. They're going to make sure they're involved. They're going to make sure they're fighting till the very end. Like I said, I still don't think they're going to be a very good team because, at the end of the day, this still is a speed and skill game, and the Flyers still lack in a lot of areas or surrounding that, with the lack of star talent and all of that. So, but if John Tortorella can find something in a lot of these young guys, like, specifically Noah Cates, who I thought has looked really good to start this year, Travis Konecny can find a way to bounce back from last year. He does look like he's finding that scoring touch, and he's finding the back of the net more often. He honestly could have had 2 goals in this game tonight against Florida, but the first one that he scored to make it a 2-1 game, or I believe it was when Florida went up 1-0, Konecny instantly tied it right after, but the goal got taken back because of an offside, because Joel Farabee lost possession going into the offensive zone. Farabee to start this year, he's coming off of that surgery. I think it's the same one that Jack Eichel had, or somewhere similar to that. He's looked a little off. He's definitely, fumbling the puck a little bit. There's definitely, you see some lapses where guys are trying to do way too much. When Kevin Hazy, he always likes to rag the puck around the ice, trying to hold on to it for way too long. There's still some of those mistakes that you see. But overall, you're putting up some good performances, and you're putting up some nice fight back. And it's funny, too, because Nick Seeler scored in this game. Seriously, that should be an embarrassment for the Florida Panthers that you let Nick Seeler score in the game. Seriously. I didn't think that was physically possible for Nick Seeler to score a literal National Hockey League goal. I didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, you get, JVR ties it up in the second period. Konecny gets a goal. But like I said, with the defensive lapses in this game, with Felix Sandstrom in the net, he wasn't going to stop every single one with as many defensive lapses as there were, considering that he's this not much experienced goaltender in the league. Then you go to the Vancouver game. You got Tony DeAngelo getting his first goal after, in the second period after you go down 2-0. Scott Lawton ties it on a shorthanded breakaway. Then Konecny finding a loose change later on in the third period to give you the win there. And in the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, you go down 2-0 in the first. Scott Lawton scores a goal. Then JVR scores. Then Noah Cates with that turnover goal in the third period to help you get the win there. And like I said, goaltending overall, specifically from Carter Hart, he's been fantastic. He's been fantastic in his first 3 starts. Exactly goals against of 2, and then a .943 save percentage. He's been fantastic. He's been absolutely amazing for you. Like I said, there's those lapses where he does allow that soft goal. But I do think, that's considered. He didn't play it in the entirety of preseason, and I do think a lot of those soft goals are coming to the glove side, and that definitely is one of Hart's weaknesses there, is the glove side. So something that, teams are definitely exposing there. But still, Hart has been absolutely fantastic to start this year for the team, and that's something that's nice to see overall. But yeah, basically, you're 3-1 to start the year. That's probably more than anyone expected of you to start this season, and it's nice to see. It definitely is. They're playing some good hockey. They're fighting till the very end. They're showing energy. They're showing life. They're showing that they're not going to die on the ice when they go down. They're showing that they're going to fight back. They're going to be in your face. They're not going to be taken, serious. They're not going to be, taken lightly. And that's the Tort's MO. He's going to give this team, find a way to kick in that extra gear that they didn't think they have. So, it's nice to see. And if I'm going basically through the rest of the team, Lenzinski has 2 points on the year. Lawton has a couple of goals on the year. Cates has that goal that he scored in Tampa Bay. What else? I think Zamula got his first NHL point. Looking at some other guys on the board here. Yeah, basically, you're seeing a lot of the younger guys getting, some chances here, which is very nice to see. And I do think Provorov, right now in these first couple of games, looks like the different player. But still, 3-1 to start the year. Way more than I or any of us could honestly ask for. So if you're looking at the rest of the schedule here, to basically close out the month of October, you got Nashville on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Then you wrap that up with a back-to-back starting on a homestand this Sunday against the San Jose Sharks at 7. And then you got a 3-day off break there. Then you have Florida at home, Carolina at home, basically to close out the month of October. Then you go into November. You got a 3-game road trip. The Rangers, Maple Leafs, Senators. Then you come home for a game, play the Blues. Go on the road, play the Blue Jackets. Come back home, play Ottawa and Dallas in a back-to-back on a Saturday and Sunday. Go on the road for 3 straight games. Columbus, Boston, Montreal. Come back home, play Calgary. Play Washington on the road the day before Thanksgiving. Play Pittsburgh at home on Black Friday. Islanders the very next day on Saturday. Then the Islanders again at home on the 29th of November. I'm not going to go through the entire schedule here, but basically, you know the idea of that entire thing. But still, it's funny when, Flyers being some of the only undefeated teams in the league this year. If you wanted to look at the standings, the Flyers are in 3rd place in the Metropolitan Division, so let's go. it's, nice to see with the way the team is playing overall. That's basically the most important thing. And honestly, if I'm looking around the league, I just want to see how other teams are doing right now, because I really haven't been able to watch much hockey just because of everything going on with the Phillies so far. Like, Phillies have been taking majority of the priority right here with the way that they're, in the playoffs and everything like that. So, like, if you look at the rest of the Metro, Carolina's still undefeated. The Rangers are 3-1. Penguins are 2-0-1. They got 5 points. Islanders are 2-1. Caps are 2-2. Atlantic Division, Boston's 3-1. Florida's 3-1. Detroit, they're 2-0-1. Buffalo's 2-1. Toronto's 2-2. Also, Toronto, with the way they're starting the year, losing to the Arizona Coyotes. Looking in the Western Conference, Dallas is 3-0 to start the year. Jake Ottinger has been amazing for them as well. Nashville's 2-2. Colorado 2-1. St. Louis, this is the second game they're playing this season against the Seattle Kraken. They've had so many days off. I don't know why they've had so many days off. And then you go to the Pacific. Calgary's undefeated to start the year. Vegas has looked really good in their first so many games. They're 3-1. LA's 3-2. And then the rest of the division, basically, San Jose's 0-5. They look terrible to start the year. Same thing with Vancouver. They're 0-3. Minnesota's 0-3, which is weird. Tampa Bay's 1-3 to start the season, but they'll find a way to pick it up. Columbus is 1-3. Devils are 1-2. Well, basically, it's been a nice start to the year overall. That's basically it. I think that's basically the whole summary for this entire thing. It's a nice start to the year. I think that's all that matters. So, before we end it off, let's go to the live feed. Do you think my All-Star break will know if his teams are... the Flyers are not going to be a playoff team this year, no doubt. If only this could be the worst performance all season. And there's definitely going to be some worse ones, but I don't think it's going to be... I don't think we're going to see, games where they're losing 9-0. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. Who's the captain? There's no captain of this team. Tortorella is not going to be, assigning anyone that. JPR bringing up his trade value. Tough battle, but we beat the Bolts last night. Maybe a little tired. Yeah, I think the back-to-back had some implications there, but I do think they outshot Florida like 19-9 in the third. So they were getting their chances overall. So let's see. Torts rules. How are you doing, Renee? Sharks versus Flyers the same day as Chiefs versus the 49ers. Oh, you're gonna have a tough competition there with your San Francisco teams. So definitely a tough choice. But, yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it off here, folks. So, Flyers 3-1 to start the year. Let's just see how the season goes. So, I see. Do you think the Flyers will bring up some minor league players this year? You're probably going to see some guys coming up and down, basically, throughout the entire year. I know they just claimed someone off waivers from Colorado, I believe, for, 4 flying play. So, basically, it's going to be like that the entire year. You're going to see some guys get called up. You're going to see some guys get called down. They're also injured to hell as well. So, that's probably one of the other reasons why you're going to see that. So, it's basically a wait-and-see process. So, thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Do not forget to drop a like. Do not forget to check out everything in the description down below. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It goes a very long way. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. It's a great deal. Don't pass that up. Thank you for joining tonight's 2 streams on the Phillies and the Flyers. And